Lifeline segment where we treat issues of life with utmost care, I tell you. And today we will be talking peer pressure. You know, no one hears those two words and not feel bad in some way. And you know that if you have children approaching their teenage years, you've probably thought at least a few times about the kind of peer pressure they might experience. I have with me in the studio a life coach who will delve into the matter properly. Her name is Mrs. Nkwoto Inyang. Good to have you, Mrs.
Thank you very much, Christiana.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
All right. Okay. Let's not take more time. Let's just get into it proper.
Okay.
You all smile.
As usual.
You're also looking beautiful.
Thank you very much.
All right. In simple terms, peer pressure. Tell us what it's about.
Okay, peer pressure is when someone tries to do something to be accepted by his peers or by his circle of influence, by his circle of friends. And sometimes people believe that peer pressure should always be bad. Once we mention peer pressure, a lot of people think it's negative peer pressure we are talking about. But we need to understand that peer pressure can be positive and it can also be negative.
Okay, so who are the victims of peer pressure?
I believe that anybody can be a victim of peer pressure. Most times people believe that teenagers are the most victims of peer pressure, but I usually say that even adults could also be victims of peer pressure. So anybody can be a victim of peer pressure, most especially if you don't even know what peer pressure is.
Okay, so which is, as I'm seated,
you can be a victim of peer pressure.
Really?
Yes.
As in with my age?
Yes. Okay, let me just give you an example with ladies. You see a lady doing everything she wants to get a bone straight. That's what is running now. And that's peer pressure, because you don't need bone straight if you don't need it. Because you see friends, because you have friends who have bone straight and are using bone straight, you are being pressured to get it, even when your finances might not be able to purchase that. But you are being pressured because you want to be accepted by your circle of friends.
Is that why you went for a low cut?
I think my low cut is because it's really convenient. It doesn't take my time.
Okay, I get it. Oh, so I'm the one who... All right. So what actually makes them give in to peer pressure, the adolescents?
Okay, the teens, what makes them give in to peer pressure, most especially, is low self-esteem. When you believe you are not enough. Like I usually talk to parents, try to build self-confidence in your children. Make your children know that they are enough, that a perfect God created them and they are perfect creatures. So when your children, when your teenagers, when youth believe they are not good enough, they will go for extras. And the extra is because they want to be accepted by their circle of friends. So most especially if you have a child who has a low self-esteem, that child is prone to be a victim of peer pressure.
Okay, I heard you talk about trying to fit in a circle, because I know that the friends are often a big influence.
Yes.
And it can be hard to know what to do or how to stand up for one's belief, right?
Yes.
Now, my question is, what are some of the ways one can get pressured into doing things one does not want to do?
For example, if you're a teenager and your friends are bullies, somehow you find yourself bullying if you do not speak up. And you know that growing up, if you were a teenager once, you would know that this is the truth. Growing up, you see that young people, young boys will begin to say, we don't shake hands with girls, we hug girls. Now, if you are amongst this circle of friends, you begin to hug girls. That is peer pressure because you want to do what your friends are doing. And also, if you find yourself in a party, maybe a birthday party, and your friends are drinking alcohol, and then you sit in their midst, because you do not take alcohol, you tell them, no, I'm not going to take alcohol, and then the host of the event picks a bottle of beer and hands it over to you. That's an indirect peer pressure with no words. Hands it to you, and once you receive it, you have been pressured. Most times in your mind you don't want to drink it, but you fall a victim because you don't want to feel, I'm not among, I don't do what my friends are doing. So you just want to belong. So you find yourself drinking it just because you want to remain in that circle.
Okay, that's a nice one. All right, now a child acts out of character,
Okay.
and most definitely the parent gets disturbed. What strategies should parents apply in helping their children cope with peer pressure?
Most especially parents, I usually say this because I'm also a parents coach. The first step you should take in the right direction is to connect with your child. If you know your child is struggling with a particular character and you want to help your child, you need to first of all become an empathetic listener. You need to understand what your child is passing through before you can help the child. Now, if you are a parent that is judgmental, your child will never connect with you. So the first step is for you to connect with your child. That is building let's say a teen or child parent relationship. So parents, please, I know that it's good for us to look for the money so that we can take care of our children, but the most important thing about raising your child is that you must be able to build a relationship, a bond, so that your children can always come to you when they have issues. If there is no bond, unfortunately, your children will not come to you. They will go to their peers, and that's where peer pressure comes in. So if you have a relationship with your child, your teenager, then when they encounter any problem, their children will come to you. Then you can help your child out of any challenge or any situation. Number two thing that you must do as a parent is that you must understand what kind of child you have. You know, issues can come up, but if you don't know the kind of child you have, you might not know how to handle your child. Like I usually say, you are a different parent to your first child, a different parent to your second child, and a different parent to every other child. So the way you treat or discipline your first child should not be the same way you discipline your second child, because they are different, they are unique in their ways. If you use the wrong method, then you will lose your child.
You see me just sitting there looking you like, oh really? Okay, but you said something about connecting and bonding with your children.
Yes.
Okay, a situation where you feel you're bonding enough that's in your mind with your child, and at the end of the day the child still gets pressured. What happens?
Okay, you know, most times parents really feel that they are bonding, because most parents will feel maybe buying things for my children, taking them out is bonding. You know what? Working with teenagers and children for these 11 years now, have come to discover that the children need much more than purchases. They need much more than material things. Do you know that children really appreciate parents that eat together as a family? Do you know that they love it? You know, you cook your meals, and like in those traditional days, you put it in a big round tray and you sit around it, especially if it is a pankoko, and you eat it with your fingers. Your children so much love that connection. Now, because of our jobs, most times for bankers, coming home late will not give us that opportunity to eat with our children. That's one way. Number two, when your children come back from school or from trainings or from activities, what do you do? What do you say to them? You see most parents say, so how was today? How was school today? And the next answer is what? Fine. You have not connected. So you should go deeper. You should make the children know that you're interested in what they are doing. You can ask them questions such as, which subjects did you learn today? What was the thing about that subject? What touched you? How did the teacher teach? You know, do you love the way the teacher teaches? What is it about that teacher that you like? How are your friends in school? Who are your friends? What is it that you love about them? You know, so there are different opportunities. I usually say there are always windows of opportunities for you to correct. Now, when your child goes astray, it is a very good time to connect. But unfortunately, our African situation, we scream when the children falters, when the children misbehave. That is a time to hold your child to yourself and say, you know that I love you and I'm going to correct you because I need you to go the right way. Now, this and this and this that you did was wrong. This is why it is wrong. Like the way I discipline my children, I search for the Bible scripture that corrects that and I quote it to my child. So you realize that you don't actually parent as an emergency. You don't parent as a competition, but you parent as a journey that you never end till the day you close your eyes in death.
That's one. So really nice. So I would have said, let me get back to my father, but he's late. I will have to connect with him. Do not laugh now, because I never had this opportunity. Like, you do a thing and you get a spank, whether you do or not.
Yes.
Whether you're
right
wrong or not,
wrong.
you get a spank. And did we actually have some connections?
Most times I realize that most parents are still not having connections because they didn't have a connection, and it's still taking them time to heal. They don't even know that they have a problem, so they don't even know how to help themselves. So you see the society becoming worse because we are actually replicating the way we were parented. So you see the children coming out without a bond with their parents because the parents also did not have a bond. So really, most adults today didn't have a bond with their parents. So I guess that's the reason why I'm called into parent and life purpose coaching, to educate people, because some people are ignorant and the Bible says ignorant kills. So what you don't know will kill you. So I'm trying to educate parents to know that if you're having issues with your child, if you're not connecting with your child, that means you two were not connecting with your parent while they were bringing you up. And it's something that we all long for. Our children long for our acceptance. I've actually worked with a child that wanted to commit suicide. A 16-year-old child that was going to write WAEC came up to me and said, depression is killing me. There's no connection with my mom. My mom nags over everything that I do. And this is a problem. When I walked up to the mother, unfortunately, the mother was ignorant, and the mother was like, he does this and I scream. He does that and I scream. I'm just screaming because I want him to be better. It's unfortunate because we are actually living the lives that our parents gave to us. We are supposed to be better as parents if we want our children to be better.
All right. Good one there. Now, I ran into this write-up that says, when facing peer pressure, think of the acronym SWAG, as in SWAG.
Okay.
The S, which is stop and say no. W, wait. The A, avoid the situation and offer alternatives. The G, get out. Now, what can you make out of that?
Okay. When you are pressured, just like you said, the first thing is for you to stop. Stop and look around. Am I in the right place? Am I in the right circle of friends? Initially, when we made the definition of peer pressure, I said it can be positive or negative. Your friends can actually make you to be better. They can give you encouragement. They can make you become a better person. And they can also make you become worse. You can become a shoplifter. You can become a thief. You can become a drunk because of your circle of friends. So stop, look around. Who are the people in your circle? Are there people that you can walk away from? Are there people that you want to live with? There's this Bible portion that says that he that walks with the wise is also wise, but a companion of fools will be destroyed by his own stupidity. So the choice is yours. Stop. Look around at your circle of friends and decide, am I walking with the wise? Am I walking with the foolish? Whose companion do I want to be? Because whosoever, if you are walking with the wise, then you are wise. If you are walking with the foolish ones, then you are foolish. So stop, look around as your circle of friends, and then take a leave, ask for help.
Okay. And the common impression people have is that peer pressure is always negative. What's your expert's view on this?
Now, I just mentioned that peer pressure can be negative and it can also be positive. And I usually like to say encourage the positive ones. Parents, if you know that your children have friends that are helping your children to become better, you can encourage that. But once you realize it is negative, please discourage every negative peer pressure. But do encourage positive peer pressure.
All right. Aside the questions I've asked, Any other thing you want to?
Okay, what I want to do is parenting is a profession. And if you are afraid that your child might go astray because of peer pressure, then you have a job to do. The number one thing there is what makes a child to stand firm in the face of negative peer pressure is that the child has a purpose, the child has self-confidence, and the child can stand up for himself. And this child also is someone that knows that he is enough for himself. So parents, you have a job to do. Make sure you instill all of this in the life of your children. Be a proactive parent. Do not wait until there is fire on the mountain, then you start running helter skelter. Do not wait until your child becomes a problem before you start looking for the solution. Please learn ahead. If you're afraid of anything, try to study ahead of that thing and then help your child to become what you want your child to become. And to you teenagers, to you youth, when you discover that you are in a situation that you are learning what is not wise, then run away. Ask for help. Talk to your teachers, talk to your coaches, talk to your parents. Seek for help so that you don't become a victim of circumstance.
All right. Thank you so very much. I'm so happy.
Thank you very much.
You came around.
Thank you.
All right. We were talking peer pressure, and my studio guest has been Mpoto Inyang, a parent coach and a life purpose. All right, we'll leave it here for the next segments to come in. ID James is on standby. I have been your person, Tina Okure.
Oh yes, Governor Udom Emmanuel's administration that is people-oriented.